On one side, you have the undefeated Pakistan team in the tournament so far. In fact, their run in the UAE has been outstanding. 16 unbeaten game for them. But Australia, many would say, are peaking at the right time. And as we know, when it comes to ICC knockouts, seldom do you see any other team perform better than the Australian side. Can this Australian side under Aaron Finch do one better than the Pakistan team under Babar Azam? That's what will be our focus in the next few minutes. Joining us on the program, cricket analyst in Sunny Gavaskar. Sunny bhai, one very interesting stat when I'm looking at these two teams, Australia have never lost to Pakistan when it comes to an ICC knockout game. Can Pakistan, considering the form that they are in, change that particular stat?
Why not? Pakistan had never lost to India in a World Cup, but they changed that, didn't they?
Yep.
And the way they're playing, the way they're combining, the way they're showing such a calm approach towards the game, not a frenzied approach which has got them into trouble in the past. Yes, they can do it. Why not? They have a very good balanced team. They've got a top-class new ball attack. The spinners have been very good. They're batting. They've got depth in the batting with Shoaib Malik at 6 coming and hitting, a fastest half century. What more do you want?
All right. There is an argument in favor of Australia, Sunny bhai, saying that they are peaking at the right time, whereas, Pakistan may have peaked early. How much merit do you think are in these arguments? Does momentum, peaking make really a lot of difference in these knockout encounters?
These are lovely arguments to talk about, discuss, peaking and all that kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's a match. Yeah. And somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. If Australia lose, you're going to say, oh, well, they didn't peak in time. If Pakistan lose, you're going to say, see, we told you that, they have already peaked. So these are the kind of things that happen. But in the T20 format, you can't predict anything because in a T20 format, like we saw the other day, yesterday, that 17th over, which went for 23 runs, changed the complexion of the game completely. The next over went for 14 and the 19th went for 20. So a couple of overs can completely change, completely overturn the game. So whoever does that today, whoever takes their catches today, whoever keeps a cool head will win. Never mind whether they have peaked or not.
All right, Sunny bhai, what a coincidence that you talk about that one over that happened yesterday where 23 runs were given, because that is the reference I was going to make, because the last time these two teams played in a knockout in a T20 World Cup, it was Michael Hussey that took 23 odd runs of Saeed Ajmal's over, that final over, and that's how Australia triumphed in that particular encounter. It was a very, very close encounter before that, and many thought that Pakistan would end up on the winning side, but that wasn't to be. Michael Hussey playing one of the finest T20 innings. But what are the equations now? How are the two teams shaping up for this crucial encounter? Let's take a look. Right, Sunny Gavaskar still with us. One thing that we've seen with this particular Pakistan team, and the reason for their success has been how good their openers have been in terms of piling runs. But the other interesting stat I was looking at is the fact that their run rate in the power play is one of the lowest at 5.8. Now they're trying to beat that conventional logic now that people say you have to go hell for leather at the start. Pakistan is going back to that age-old logic that no, play with a bit of consolidation, keep wickets in hand. You reckon because this is a knockout game, they would be tempted to change that, or you think because this has been working, they should continue with this?
I think because it's been working, they'll look to do that. Obviously, if they get the opportunities to up the scoring rate, they'll do that. But I think what they found in this tournament is in Asif Ali and then Shoaib Malik at number 5, 6 or 6, 7, they found two finishers who can make up for a solid start in the first 6 overs in the power play. If they're scoring about 6, as you said, 5.8, 6 runs and over, they can make up. These two batsmen can make up, and I think that is what has been one of the reasons why they have, even if they found themselves in a tough situation like against Afghanistan, they managed to get through only because of the power hitting, the finishing power of Asif Ali and Shoaib Malik.
Right, Saima, you've hit the nail on the head without the benefit of having stats in front of you, because the stats suggest exactly that. Because they may be slow to begin with, it's their end, it's the death over where Pakistan have the highest run rate at 13.2. And as you mentioned about Shoaib Malik, Hafiz coming to the party in a game or two, and then Asif Ali also doing it for them. I'm just looking at from Australia's perspective, they would be looking for those early wickets, because that's when you can really put pressure, and we'll get to see whether the Pakistani middle order then can bat, gradually and then accelerate towards the end. Hazelwood, you reckon, is the guy? I'm just looking at the role that Australia have assigned to him. 62% of his overs, he bowls in the power play. So he'd be that weapon that they look to get those early breakthroughs?
Yes, because he hits that hard leg around the off stump of most of the batsmen, which is very tough to get away, either on the offside or on the onside. So clearly, I think he is going to be the one that will look to get the wickets. But don't rule out Mitchell Starc. He's not quite got the one that comes into the right-hander. He's lost it over the last couple of years because his wrist position is, getting the ball away, not getting the ball in. But occasionally the new ball, as you know, can swing in. And if that happens, then he becomes even more dangerous.
All right, Sunny bhai, we leave it at that. What a mouth-watering contest that we have on our hands. Pakistan taking on Australia. As we mentioned, that Australia have never lost in an ICC knockout game to Pakistan. But if you look at the form, then you'd have to go say that Pakistan go into this particular encounter as the favourites. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. But before we wrap up our show, we'll listen in to Matthew Hayden, because he finds himself in an internal battle of heart versus head. Because remember, he's played all his cricket for Australia, now is on the Pakistani camp. What did he have to say before this game? Listen to him, and that's all that we have at the moment.